Wednesday night. It'll be Baye Ndongo and Nate Litteris for the tap. And Billy Covington Jr., one of our officials, making sure they're where they need to be. And the opening tip controlled by the Yellow Jackets. They've got the same starting lineup they used on Wednesday night in a 23-point win against the West Georgia Wolves. That was the largest margin of victory under head coach Damon Stoudemire, now in his second year. And the first three-pointer will not fall for the Jackets. Here for North Florida, their starting lineup. Same starting five they've had their first two games. A win over South Carolina, coming from behind late on the road, and then they dominated Charleston Southern by nearly 30 points. As Javian McCullum gets us started with a three-pointer. He's now 4 for 7 from distance as a Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, and on that possession, feet were set, no defense in sight. Easy triple.
Jalen Smith, sophomore point guard, dumps it off to Josiah Miles. North Florida out of the Atlantic Sun. A prolific three-point shooting team, hitting above 50% through 2 games this season. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Miles pulls up from deep. O'Brien the contest. No good. Rebound seized by Ndongo. Nate George penetrates. Kick out. Luke O'Brien. Bottoms.
Got the triple. That's the advantage with Nate out there with McCollum. You essentially have 2 point guards. Get it, go, push tempo. Find three-point shooters.
Well, North Florida, we mentioned their three-point shooting. It's Georgia Tech that's come out hot. 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Josh Harris flashes open. They got the mismatch against McCullum, and Ndongo didn't come over to help in time. And an easy 2 for Harris, the freshman. John, what are your keys to this afternoon's game?
Well, I think for Georgia Tech, defend the three-point line. North Florida's averaging 12.5 three-pointers made per game. And then for North Florida, you're going to shoot a lot of threes. Transition defense is crucial. There's going to be long rebounds on those missed threes. Georgia Tech's a team that likes to get out and push tempo, so transition D will be crucial.
And Josiah Miles, bullseye, first 3 for North Florida. That was a transition 3 for North Florida off a long Georgia Tech miss.
Yeah, both ways. Georgia Tech has got to locate shooters. There'll be 5 guys on the floor most times from North Florida that can shoot the ball from beyond the arc.
Ndongo, a little around the world. Baye Ndongo, preseason All-ACC selection. And Josh Harris wastes no time announcing his presence. The freshman who dropped 23 on Thursday night. So exciting for the Ospreys program to bring in Josh Harris this year.
Yeah, and they can really get out. You saw that on a made basket. It was 1-2 passes up, and they're out the other way attacking. This is a North Florida team that will push tempo. Here you see again the run out. That's poor transition defense. 2 possessions in a row for the Yellow Jackets. Coach Stoudemire looking on, not happy with those 2 possessions.
And that really is the question for Georgia Tech this year. They feel offensively, they did some really good things last year. They like their pieces so long as they take care of the basketball. But defensively, that's where Tech has the most room to grow here in year 2 under Coach Stoudemire. As Ndongo goes to work and draws the foul. Count the basket by Ndongo. Working over the freshman Josh Harris.
We got the muscle and the stripes. Teddy Valentine called that one and won. The good mechanics, the veteran official. And he's seen a lot of basketball. Ted Valentine.
ACC figure wearing the black and white stripes. By the way, that foul just signed Miles, I beg your pardon. So 0, not 10. They're trying to slow down Ndongo. And Baye misses the free throw.
Georgia Tech, no problem scoring the basketball early on, but it will be the defense. Locating three-point shooters and then transition D. We've already seen 2 runouts by the Ospreys for layups in transition.
And a foul coming here on McCullum as he was guarding Jalen Smith. Our officiating crew, by the way, you said Ted Valentine, Bill Covington Jr., and Mark Schnurr. Head coach Damon Stoudemire. NBA Rookie of the Year back in the 90s. One of 19 current head coaches in Division I basketball that have NBA playing experience. Of course, he was also a legend at Arizona, part of a couple of Final Four teams with the Wildcats. Miles trying to break down O'Brien. Ndongo over to help, but we've got a whistle.
And O'Brien was one-on-one ISO play. He did not have to reach on that one. He had the help coming from Ndongo, one of the better shot blockers returning in the ACC. Just a bailout on that possession. He'll learn from that. I saw him look over to Coach Stoudemire early in the season. those are plays that, you don't want to bail out the offensive player. See that on film again and correct it moving on this season.
Miles' first free throw down the well. North Florida led by head coach Matthew Driscoll in his 16th seasons. Led the Ospreys to 3 Atlantic Sun titles in the regular season, including the 2015 tourney title, reaching the NCAA tournament for the first time in school history. So after a couple made free throws, 1-point game, Nate George, sophomore from Toronto, brings it up for the Jackets. Yellow Jackets had 20 assists offensively on Wednesday night. Moved the ball extremely well. And from high to low, Ndongo to O'Brien.
That's the value of veteran guy, O'Brien. He's played a lot of basketball at the D1 level, moving without the ball. He notices his man watching Ndongo and the ball. The backdoor cut wide open. Here's the Jackets. This is what they need to do. Push in transition, find the open shot.
Reeves, an acrobatic attempt. He draws contact, and Kowacie will go to the line when we come back. The Yellow Jackets and Ospreys shooting the ball well here in the opening minutes on a Sunday afternoon in Midtown Atlanta. Kowacie Reeves headed to the free throw line, a 5-star recruit coming out of Westside High School in Macon, Georgia, John, and now as a senior at Georgia Tech since arriving at the Flats last year, he's taken his game to another level.
Yeah, and you can just see the increases right there. We're not going to go through every line, but the one that stands out, 38% three-point shooting percentage. That comes with maturity. Player development, certainly a big part of that. And then just maturity. He's got minutes played. He was the second leading scorer for the Jackets in the opener with 15 points against West Georgia. So looking for big things out of Kowacie this year as a senior.
And any head coach will tell you, John, it's so critical that your players buy into your coaching, into your plan, into your program. As Reeves hits the first free throw, and you asked Damon Stoudemire about Kowacie Reeves, he lights up, and that's the first thing he says. From day one when he got here, he was all in. Effort, energy, intensity. I didn't have to coach him up on any of those qualities.
And if you can continue to stack players like that, stack student athletes like that on your roster, that's how you begin to change culture. I know Coach Stoudemire's been working on that, upgrading the talent, recruiting's been successful, but it's the high character guys, the guys that want to be coached, that compete. Kowacie Reeves is one of them.
Litteris down the baseline on a little chaos. Murphy's got it. Put it in the hands of Cameron Oriole, just into the ball game with 5 seconds to shoot. Oriole lets it fly, and a little too strong, and Ndongo rises up for the rebound.
You can see McCollum there with a pride in his defensive performance. Great ball pressure, nothing easy.
Kowacie Reeves saw a crease, second chance, yes.
That's what he has in his game. He can drive, he's a slasher, but his athleticism, his ability to stay with it, make the second effort, and converts on that possession. 6-point lead for the Jackets.
And 4 different scores so far for Georgia Tech. Jalen Smith trying to wiggle past Ndongo, finds some oxygen, and too strong rebound. J.V. McCollum now on the long rebound. Georgia Tech coaches want to push it. Reeves dials up a 3 and connects.
A little point to the bench from McCollum. That's what they want to do. They want to get out, push in transition, pitch ahead, find the open shooters, really force the tempo of this game.
And an 8-0 run for the Yellow Jackets. Stifling it, Jalen Smith. He dials up a 3. Sophomore from Ocoee, Florida, led the team with 16 points in their emphatic win over South Carolina Monday night, stunning the Gamecocks in Columbia.
Comes back with 11.6 assists in their win against Charleston Southern, and he's a big part of this team. Ndongo again, back to the basket. He's got the height advantage, gets the position. That's going to be a long day for North Florida if they allow Ndongo position like that.
Yeah, Nate George recognized it too from a long ways away as Ndongo was lined up on Smith. He was giving up 10 inches to him and curling around underneath. Cameron Oriole, the transfer from the Masters College in California, NAIA school. He's one of those pieces for Coach Driscoll that you look at the pedigree from a shooting standpoint, he fits their program. He can really dial it in from long range.
Yeah, and you're absolute. You're going to have guys that are hungry, that compete, that are high IQ, but they've got to be able to shoot the ball in Driscoll's program. And they live or die by that three, but they're going to compete, they're going to defend.
North Florida, like any program in this era of college basketball, getting a boost from the transfer portal. They brought in 4 transfers. I mentioned Cameron Oriole from the Masters out in California, Liam Murphy from Columbia, Alex Vargo, and Nestor Diachuk. They haven't played as much, but really Murphy and Oriole, those have been the pieces that have contributed in this first week for the Ospreys.
Coming from all over the country. North Florida, getting near the beach. You got that recruiting to sell down near Jacksonville. It's a good sell. The warm weather and a little ocean nearby. Not a bad deal. Play some hoops while you're doing it.
Speaking of transitions, how about Javian McCollum, that last basket? He came in from Oklahoma. He described moving from Norman to Atlanta as a smack in the face. And Amitri Moss draws contact and finishes the play. The senior, who had his season cut short with a knee injury, did not play at all in Atlantic Sun play. And he's working on Lance Terry there.
Yeah, just probing the defense, turning the corner. Lance Terry was a little bit slow laterally, was looking for help behind him on the second line of defense, and it was not there. Nice take on that play by Moss.
This is the free throw. But North Florida gets it to 6. Duncan Powell also went off the bench, ball in his hands. McCollum trying to cross up here on Dante Oliver. Now Terry cutting in, whipped around. Powell, short. And Oriole the rebound. He'll let it fly, and it rattles out. He'll stick with the Ospreys. So far, North Florida, 2 for 7 from three-point range.
They will keep firing them. If you took a snapshot of that possession, it was a 3-on-2. They had the point guard who was a shooter with the ball, pulled up and missed. It was everything but dropping, and then a wing shooter on the left, uncontested. That's what North Florida does. They're going to push tempo. They're going to find shooters. And if they can see it, Wiley, it's going up.
Baseline inbounds from Moss. He's running out of time here. Gets it into Liam Murphy. Into the corner for Nate Litteris. North Florida averaging 29 three-pointers per game so far this season, but they're penetrating inside, and Cameron Oriole, nice touch with the finger roll.
Yeah, that's 2 possessions consecutively. North Florida getting into the seams, the dribble drive to the middle, wide open.
Powell grabbing the rebound and tries to zoom it into Dorian Onwuchekwa. Instead, a turnover. First turnover for the Yellow Jackets this afternoon. First turnover for either side. They've been taking care of the basketball. Murphy has been so dangerous. 9 for 15 from three-point range, but he goes inside. 8 seconds to shoot. Dante Oliver with it. Moss in, elbow. Count the basket. He draws the foul at the end of the shot clock.
Great job probing the defense. North Florida finds one at the end of the shot clock and one opportunity coming back from the timeout, Wiley.
The North Florida Ospreys of the Atlantic Sun, coming off a 500 season a year ago under head coach Matthew Driscoll. See him talking to Jalen Smith there, an all-freshman team selection for the Ospreys last season. He was thrust into action because of an injury to Amitri Moss. By the way, Amitri Moss, good to have him back. We'll head to the line after hitting that jumper and drawing contact. This is a North Florida team. They're picked to finish 7th in the ASUN this year. I think they feel like they can do considerably better than that with the experience and the shooting prowess they have. As Moss completes the three-point play, heck, they've already got a win over South Carolina, first ever SEC win in program history.
Yeah, if you can shoot the ball, you're dangerous. You throw in the newcomers, Liam Murphy, Josh Harris, Jalen Smith. These guys are getting more opportunity this year in an inflated role, whether they're new or returning. and they can all shoot the triple. So dangerous combination out there that Coach Driscoll gets to throw on the floor.
Cameron Oriole reaching in on Dorian Onwuchekwa. 45 in gold, standing 6'11", freshman from Dallas, Texas, and late commit to the Yellow Jackets, Onwuchekwa. George dumps it off to him, and there goes Onwuchekwa, and he lays it in off the glass, making it a 3-point lead for the Jackets. But you mentioned the three-point shooting from North Florida, John. It has been a hallmark of their program year after year. They are among the leaders in those three-pointers taken. Look, twice in the last 5 years, they've led the country. Was that three-pointer either partially deflected or well short? I think Powell got a piece of it there from Murphy. On the other end, Powell draws the contact and go to the line.
And more importantly, he puts another foul on Murphy. That's his first, actually, but the fouls in transition. Get a good stop. It was a deflected three-point shot, so solid defensive effort. And then the kick ahead put pressure on North Florida in transition play. Powell go to the line and try to convert.
Duncan Powell, redshirt junior from Dallas. Transfer from Sacramento State. Coach Driscoll was asking for replay on that last call. Missing the free throw. North Florida back to work. Josh Harris, true freshman, Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Coach Driscoll gave you a hard look.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, not our jurisdiction.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Hold my eyes down. I'm looking at my notes. A continuation for Dante Oliver. A little scowl as well as he heads to the line. And one opportunity is the old-fashioned threes.
Yeah, we'll get another look at it. Ball screen, turned it down, and then this on the perimeter, tough matchups right now for the Jackets. They're going to have to play some small ball because what North Florida will do is go small lineup, spread the floor. And you've got to respect that if you're Georgia Tech. You've got to be able to keep guys in front and have the right matchups.
Dante Oliver hits the free throw, and now Nate Litteris coming back in with his 2 fouls, giving Liam Murphy a breath. Tied at 26. Both these teams shooting close to 60% in the first 10 minutes. Onwuchekwa. Powell curling around, weaving through and off the glass.
Nice body control in traffic. Powell with a nice finish. Put a 4-5 in ball screen action on the wing. That's an interesting combo right there. Good dial-up by Coach Stoudemire.
Litteris floater, no. Onwuchekwa and Powell battling for the rebound, same team. And a jump ball is going to be called. It'll stick with North Florida.
Can't fault the effort, but communication in the scrum right there. Say I got it. Right there. And they want those, I call them AJC points. They want those boards in the newspaper tomorrow in that box score. Someone's got to talk and communicate on that, but great effort, can't fault the effort. Meaningful minutes right there.
Coach Stoudemire describes both Dorian and Duncan as 2 guys who bring an edge to their team. They'll go at it pretty hard in practice. It's almost like they thought they were in practice again there under that possession.
And that's one area that the Jackets coaching staff addressed is depth. You're going to see them go to the bench a lot, keep guys fresh, and come in waves and try to keep that intensity up defensively. A foul on the perimeter.
That's 6 fouls now on Georgia Tech. But to your point, John, with Powell and Onwuchekwa going out, the Yellow Jackets have opted to go a little smaller here, Ndongo being the one piece in the front court.
16 fouls for the Jackets, no one with 2, so it's 6 individuals have all picked up 1 foul.
Dante Oliver. Ndongo reaches forward, he's got it. Can he run the floor? Big fella! Oh! Give him the goaltending. By Ndongo, he wants a foul call as well.
Josh Harris took it off the backboard on its way down. Matt Driscoll kind of looking in, put both his hands up, said, come on, use your head. That's an automatic 2. You don't know if that's going in. So it's kind of a bailout by Josh on that play. As he blocks the shot coming off the backboard. That's goaltending.
based on our advantage, John, I don't think it was going in.
Oh, no, absolutely not. That was a good effort in transition. They're running him down. Baye was off balance, so Jackets catch a break.
Oscar Berry comes in for Oliver. Yellow Jackets leading by 4. Oliver trying, or beg your pardon, McCollum trying to smother Moss. Ball screen coming. Reeves tries to fight through it. Contest on Miles. And Ndongo doesn't get the rebound, but George does. Terry, corner 3, bullseye.
The backcourt right now, we got veteran players out there, a lot of minutes under their belt, and they're finding each other.
Trading 3-point buckets, Nate Litteris. Began his career at Longwood on his second year at North Florida.
Unforced turnover on that possession right there, but we'll see on this possession. For North Florida, a little bump, step back, knock it down. You got to be able to stay on your feet. And North Florida, the Ospreys will throw 5 guys on the floor at any given time. They can really stretch the floor and knock down the 3.
I feel like we've seen the same face twice from Damon Stoudemire. That furrowed brows. What were you thinking? Won't go. Ooh, and a hard fall. Terry goes down. He and Ndongo going for it. They're going to say it was a travel on Terry. Good news is he gets up to his feet.
Well, he's a tough player. The toughness he brings, again, sat out last season, had 3 years at Gardner-Webb where he averaged double figures. He was the second leading scorer 2 seasons ago for the Jackets. And now, with 1 more year development and time to be coached under Stoudemire, Terry could be in for a big year. He's going to be a big piece of the puzzle for the Jackets backcourt. He brings that leadership and that toughness.
Well, he was second on the team in scoring 2 years ago, shot 40% from 3. Coach Stoudemire calls him a pillar of the program. Smith gets a step on Reeves and handles the contact well. Jalen Smith, 5'11". Already today, he's got 5 points.
Yeah, you want to bury a shot blocker in the rim, take away, use the rim as your protection, and he's demonstrated that twice now, getting deep into the paint, finishing in traffic.
Terry, after hitting the floor, leaves it short. And the Ospreys, entry pass down low. Harris has it swatted away, but you count the basket on the way down. What a feed down to Harris. It's a 7-0 run for North Florida, and we are tied at 33. With it.
After review on the last call, the basket stands inconclusive.
Both of them are good. That one, good. That.
After the officials reviewed both those goaltending calls, they determined they are both good. So our score is 33-33. Baye Ndongo called for the last one. One more look at what we saw going to break. Look how close this was.
Yeah, so the rule states that if it's outside the cylinder, the verticality of it, or coming down, so it's reached its peak, it's starting to descend, and that's where I think, it was outside the rim, so no goaltending there, but as it starts to come down and you erase it, that's good for 2. That was a tough call, man. It was so close.
Goes the way of the Ospreys. behind a 7-0 run, have pulled even. North Florida, they're not doing it the way we'd expected, John. They're just 3 for 11 beyond the arc, but they've done a lot of damage inside the paint.
Yeah, and then transition. They've been sneaky to get out in transition, push tempo, and steal a couple buckets against the Jackets in transition play, and also their dribble drives. Backcourt for North Florida has been able to get to the cracks and score some points in the paint.
And now Teddy Valentine is looking back at the play that happened about 2 minutes ago. This was the goaltend on Ndongo. That they've now reviewed both, and it does stand. Coach Driscoll still not entirely satisfied.
As a coach, you're never going to be satisfied.
That's true. You were a coach at one point.
Always play offense, man. You're on the sidelines, you're working those officials. They're human, man. A little pressure, you never know when you're going to get the whistle.
Yeah, you were known as the master manipulator on the bench in your days. Ndongo on Litteris. We face up. Hammering away. Turns. Halfway down and out. Rebound to the Ospreys and Litteris.
Ndongo, prior to that shot, was 4 of 5 from the field, and that one did everything but drop. Georgia Tech can look to him. He's going to get good possessions and get it deep.
Step back for Jalen Smith. And Nate Ndongo, the rebound again from Baye. He's got 4. McCollum pestered in the reach-in.
Foul on the reach will go to number 4, Smith. Pesty, man, he's just getting in there. Active hands coming from behind. Really got to protect the ball around number 4, Smith.
George takes the inbounds. Luke O'Brien, the transfer from Colorado, cross court. Reeves weaving in and kissing it off the window. Kowacie Reeves.
Timely bucket, and that erases a 7-0 run and puts the stop to the bleeding for the Jackets. North Florida was in control the last couple minutes, so that was a timely bucket for Kowacie.
Tech is shooting 65% from the field. Smith on George. That's 2 for Jalen Smith. He's now got 7.
He's tough. He's going at it. He's given up inches, but his toughness, his athleticism, and then just his pace. He jump stops, gathers 2 feet, gets the defense off balance, and finishes.
Ndongo in the block. McCollum straight away, puts it on the floor, and drops it in.
That looked like a little workout before the game. Just let me take a shot fake, 1 dribble, good pace. Oh, I got it. North Florida, no contest, no second effort on that play. McCullough makes him pay.
Balanced scoring so far for the Jackets. 4 different players with 7 or more points. Harris going to work on O'Brien. What a finish. Josh Harris, the true freshman. He had 23 against Charleston Southern. That was the most by an Osprey freshman in 8 years. Ndongo trying to go past Harris, and we got a kicked ball and a foul.
And the common theme we're seeing right now for North Florida, Wiley, is dribble penetration. Regardless of the player, they're putting the ball down, pounding it, and trying to get into the seams on Georgia Tech. Here you see, right there, the second effort, turn the corner, causing all kinds of issues. And again, it doesn't matter which player has the ball in their hands. Everyone on the Ospreys roster right now is attacking off the bounce. Georgia Tech will have to respond to that.
How do they respond to that? Is that coming from the help defender?
Well, I think number 1, you've got to be there on the catch. You've got to be down ready to play. It's early in the season. These are things that film will teach over time. There's conditioning factor. There's new rotations. You know, there's a little bit of everything goes into it. But Georgia Tech, a team that prides itself on getting better defensively and being tough, they're going to want to address that. They don't want to stay down, sit in front, and mitigate that dribble drive penetration.
Baseline was open. George able to wall off Oriole after Ndongo missed the front end of a 1-and-1. Smith has daylight right through the hands of Murphy and a turnover. Just the 2nd turnover for North Florida this afternoon. O'Brien thinks about a 3. He'll reverse the floor. Reeves, short, right to O'Brien, and he's got it.
O'Brien leads all Tech scorers now with 9. Gets the offensive rebound on that possession.
One of the things that has Coach Steinemeyer most excited about O'Brien, as a three swirls home for Liam Murphy, and North Florida, their first lead of the game comes here, 40-39. But O'Brien, he can guard all 5 spots on the floor, 1 through 5, a very versatile defender. Ndongo, no. Here comes Josiah Miles. As we said, North Florida with a win over South Carolina already, and they continue to launch the threes, now 4 for 14. And a timeout called by the Yellow Jackets. So North Florida with a 40-39 lead. We'll be back in just a moment in Atlanta.
Back to the basket in transition. I think personally this one comes down to defense, and it's a mentality. You have pride in your defensive effort. You're going to get there. You're going to rebound one and done, push out the tempo, and come right down North Florida in transition and try to get a lead that's sustainable.
So Duncan Powell and Lance Terry have come back on for Georgia Tech. Javian McCollum at the point. Kicks out, Lance Terry. 3, and he's got the rhythm in the bucket.
Here you see another get to the paint, look behind the defense, inside out 3 with the feet set. High percentage coming out of a dead ball situation. Nice offense.
Yellow Jackets 5 for 10 from 3 thus far. Down the lane, Miles has it stripped, recovers, and finishes.
But right there, another one. It just die on the play, not enough effort. This is early in the season. Again, you've got to find the toughness to stay in the play, or secondarily, you need a teammate to step in and help. And right now, that's where Georgia Tech, they don't have a second line of defense right now. And then on the first line of defense, not enough toughness.
Coach Matthew Driscoll, he told his team on their way to Columbia that we're not just here for a steak and a check. It's a business trip. We're here for a win. Said the same thing coming into today's game. They've got the Georgia Bulldogs on Tuesday. A lot of opportunities at the big boys as Javian McCollum works through the big men and lays it in. They get the switch. Murphy, a 3, down the well and in. Liam Murphy, the transfer from Columbia, is shooting an absurd percentage from 3 this season, John. He is now 11 for 18. Yeah. McCollum, an answer. No. Bryan, another battle for the board. And ripped away. Oriole took it right away from Luke O'Brien. Osprey showing a lot of toughness right now. Ross can't break down Terry.
Here you see 5 out. They're going to spread the floor, dribble drive.
Miles down low and beats it through Reeves. Seen some physical contact down low, and North Florida is adjusting to it.
Yeah, North Florida now with 47 points, 2:28 to go in the first. For Georgia Tech, man-to-man, may have to switch up a little bit, throw some zone. Right now, you got to break the continuity and the confidence of this North Florida offense.
One and done for the Jackets on the offensive end. Miles has it swatted away. Powell ahead to Terry. Good disruption by Litteris. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. McCollum, fadeaway, not enough. Powell has his shot rejected, and it's off his fingertips.
Playing hard. Powell with the offensive rebound. The possession before, O'Brien with an offensive rebound. Unable to convert. But certainly there is effort right there by your veteran guys. Still attacking, playing hard, just unable to convert. North Florida, a chance to stretch the lead up 3. Now with just under 2 minutes to play in the half.
Well, Georgia Tech was shooting close to 65%, but since then they've missed their last 5 shots. So North Florida, largest lead of the first half, trying to double it. No, Luke O'Brien rips away the board. McCollum swings it. Ndongo goes down, reaching for his angle. Luke O'Brien has the 2, but Baye Ndongo very ginger with that right ankle.
He grabbed it immediately and say take one for the team, but when you're the most talented player, you don't want to take one for the team there. I think he's all right. He went down gingerly and seems to be the ankle.
Oh, there it was. It was on Murphy coming to close out O'Brien. So it wasn't even the collision between him and Harrison. It was Liam Murphy who was charging out to the perimeter. That's a good sign for Georgia Tech and Ndongo staying in this game. Preseason All-ACC selection. Leading rebounder last year for the Jackets.
Absolutely, and his length in this game, you know, rim protection, grab those long rebounds and contest threes. Certainly would hurt if he was not on the floor in the second half.
Jalen Smith, a touch too strong. Murphy with the offensive rebound. Faces up on McCollum, and a foul coming. It's going to be on Javian McCollum.
A late whistle. Maybe we'll get another chance to look at that one. I know for a fact the home crowd here was not happy about that call. We'll get a look. Got him on the arm, right? No doubt about that. McCollum with the left hand on the wrist.
They will say Murphy was on the act of shooting, so 2 free throws. It's one area where North Florida has gotten the better of Georgia Tech thus far. They are 5 of 6 from the line. Georgia Tech has missed 5 of their 6 free throws. Murphy hits them both.
Murphy now with 8 points. That's 8 of the Ospreys and the scoring column. So again, balanced scoring attack. You don't know where it's going to come from, but we know the common theme is dribble, drive, penetration, stretch the floor, and shoot threes. They're doing it well in the first half.
Lance Terry step in mid-range, short, another rebound for the Ospreys. 1 minute to play in the first half. North Florida looking for their first ever win over an ACC program. Step back from the free throw line. Got it. Cameron Oriole lights out.
Right there wasn't a lack of defensive effort. McCollum was there on the shot, hand up. North Florida's made some tough contested shots in the first half.
McCollum, a 3. Yes. And a stare towards the Osprey bench. And a timeout called by North Florida. Coach Driscoll fired up.
Here we go, we see the look. Good D, better O on that possession. Hand in the face, nothing but net. McCollum comes right back at you. 12 points now for McCollum. Second triple of the day.
Coach Driscoll, a lot of emotion there after that last 3 from Javian McCollum. Final 30 seconds here in the first half. Both teams have shot 57% here in the opening 20 minutes. Smith trying to work down the clock.
Three-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock.
Circus shot, loose ball. Tapped forward, he got a foul, and it's going to go against North Florida. No, it's on Kowacie Reeves. I beg your pardon, they've got Kowacie Reeves reaching.
Oh, wow, and that'll be 7 personal fouls now.
Coach Stoudemire not totally convinced. Oh, yeah, oh my goodness. Well, that'll probably...
Film doesn't lie,
Yes,
Wiley, does it? Tape don't lie? Is that what they say in the film room?
I think that is more than enough evidence.
The previous play is under review.
You mentioned it. Free throw shooting is going to factor into this one. North Florida 6 of 7 from the line right now, and in the first half, kind of a black eye on the stat sheet, 1 of 6 from the free throw line for the Yellow Jackets. One possession game, second half, that'll be a stat to watch, is connecting from the free throw line.
5.7 seconds remaining. That official review probably lasted about 7/10 of a second. It's about as black and white as it gets there on that jersey tug from Reeves. So this is going to be Cameron Oriole at the line. It's the front end of the 1-and-1. 52 points for North Florida in the first half. The Yellow Jackets not far behind, but it's one of the focuses this year for Georgia Tech is trying to play a little better defensively.
I think Georgia Tech, the stat that stands out is only 2 turnovers for North Florida. So, you know, they're a good team that can handle the ball, but if you're Georgia Tech, coming out of the half, active defensively, you need active hands, deflections. Got to try to put some turnovers on North Florida, break the rhythm.
O'Brien at the buzzer, too strong. And that's the end of the first half. The North Florida Ospreys 2-0, and with a 4-point lead on the road.
Coach Driscoll just shouted over to me. We have a relationship. When I was playing, he was coaching for Coach Shiat for Clemson. He was an assistant, but he said free throws and rebounding. This game will come down to free throws and rebounding.
And Kowacie Reeves with a jab to begin the second half.
Should I yell back 3-point defense too?
I'm sure that would play well. You know, he's close enough. You can just let him know at some point in the second half.
Yeah.
Yellow Jackets now 7 for 15 from 3. That three-pointer will not fall for Josiah Miles. Jackets, opportunity for transition perhaps. O'Brien works past Barry. And we got a foul coming here. It's going to be against Josh Harris, saying he kicked O'Brien on his way up.
Veteran official Ted Valentine had the call on the baseline, had a good look. We'll get a good look at it right here. I think a little bailout right there. There was contact at the bottom of the play.
Now Georgia Tech, they've got to knock down some free throws. Like Coach Driscoll said, that's what it's going to come down to. Jackets are now 2 of 7 from the free throw line with that make from Luke O'Brien, who ties it up. Luke, a transfer from Colorado, played 4 years with the Buffalo, and it wasn't just any 4 years. It was some of the best basketball in Colorado's history. In fact, he had 3 teammates drafted last year, including Cody Williams, 10th overall, and Tristan Da Silva, 18th overall. So Luke O'Brien, he has played with top-level talent. It's one of the reasons Coach Stoudemire wanted to bring him in. All in the hands of Harris. Loops it down and in, and Litteris, a tight window, and he finishes it.
They are just a skilled ball club. A lot of ball skill, can shoot, can dribble at all 5 positions. Tough to defend.
Nate George, first points of the afternoon. Reverse lay-in. Back in fourth.
Nate George, again, worth mentioning, 5 assists, 0 turnovers. Just a clean game on the floor. He very rarely turns the ball over. Second returner in the ACC in assists per game.
Had only 6 combined turnovers today. And a foul, as this time Luke O'Brien whistled for it. That's the second foul he's picked up when he's been working in tandem with Ndongo.
Yeah, and that's right there. You got to keep the verticality. A nice job offensively to draw the contact. But Ndongo's coming off the ball. He has the best shot blockers do their work off the ball. That's Ndongo. Cannot bail him out in that play. You got to keep the hands vertical and not foul.
And that's how both O'Brien's fouls have come. He's been defending a drive, Ndongo coming behind him, but Luke committing the contact. Is any of that just lack of experience playing together, you think?
No, I don't think so. I mean, that was a great offensive play. O'Brien, he did his best not to foul on that one. His hands were up, but it was the second effort. Terry just dropping the shoulder. And you're going to draw contact. Again, referees are human. They're going to have to blow the whistle when there's some contact like that on the second effort.
Look at the free throw disparity. Miles with 11 points now as Ndongo spills over, and a turnover.
Doesn't look 100% comfortable on that ankle, right?
You saw him hurt that ankle in the first half, and Jalen Smith with a sheepish grin there as he buries a 3.
North Florida can hurt you. A turnover on one end and they convert. They find the open shooter.
Ndongo wide open. Can't finish with the soft touch. Miles working past Reeves, and another foul. Kowacie Reeves visibly frustrated as he's called for the contact.
And this is a test of fortitude early on in the season. It's a 4-point game. Georgia Tech, you've got to rally around your toughness, your veteran guys, your experience, because right now North Florida's taking it to you. Recognize that, know what you got to do and adjust. Again, this is a Yellow Jackets team. Guys on the floor, they've been out there before. I'm waiting for someone to step up, grab them as a unit, and they've got to come hard. Because this North Florida team will not go away. Now up 5. If you don't respond, they will bury you. A couple threes here, it'll stretch it to 10.
And Miles now a perfect 6 for 6 at the free throw line. 7-0 run for North Florida. Looking for a spark. George, no look, dump off to Ndongo. He can't finish down low. He's getting some point blank looks. They're not wide open, but he's in close proximity. Hasn't knocked him down. McCollum trying to slow down Litteris, who gets the friendly roll. And Josiah Miles threw a little too small signal down on the way back up the floor.
8-point lead for North Florida. They're coming up from Jacksonville, ready to go to war, in control right now. 17 to go on Krement's court. Coach Stoudemire trying to find an answer in this huddle.
You really can't single out one Osprey on a given night for North Florida. And this afternoon, it's been a mix of just about everybody. Josiah Miles leading the team with 13 points. You've got Harris with 10. Jalen Smith, a big 3 moments ago. And you've also got Liam Murphy and Cameron Oriole coming off the bench, each adding 8.
But 24 points off the bench. You're shooting 57.5% from the field for North Florida. And again, only 6 of 20 from beyond the arc, and they're averaging 12.5 threes per game on the season. Georgia Tech's got their hands full right now. It's a team that's confident. They've already gone on the road to an SEC opponent and beat South Carolina in the opener. Georgia Tech's going to have to step up. I want to see where it comes from.
Onwuchekwa misses a wide open look there from the short corner, and one and done. Tough entry pass contested by McCollum. That'll stay with the Ospreys. For Georgia Tech, they led wire to wire on Wednesday night, John. Look, West Georgia just making the jump to Division I. They are also in the Atlantic Sun, picked to finish last. First time they've had a significant deficit this year, Georgia Tech. Nearly a backcourt violation, and Onwuchekwa taps it out of bounds. So far, a little good contest.
If you can bottle that right there, aggressive defensive play, forcing North Florida to play on their heels. That's something you have not seen. I think Georgia Tech needs that. You know, a guy like Lance Terry, he's a veteran guy. He's tough. He's hard-nosed. Who's gonna be the spark plug? But that possession right there, Georgia Tech needs more of that. Bottle it, capture it, and that's going to get them back in the game.
Jalen Smith, ball screen from Harris. Roll's not there. Dribble, 3, clangs out. Harris, the offensive rebound. No, another offensive rebound, and the third time's the charm for Josh Harris. A dozen, and the lead is in double figures.
Harris, what a good-looking true freshman, huh, Wiley? Just long, stays with it. He's confident. He's got skill. Not overly athletic, but he plays hard.
Teardrop from George, no, but Onwuchekwa, 6'11", the true freshman, cleans it up. Miles, three-pointer short. George the rebound. To Terry. and he sinks it.
Pace of play right there. That's Georgia Tech, 1 or 2 passes ahead. Get it to Terry, a veteran guy. Tech's going to get back into this. It's going to be style of play and defensive effort.
After an 11-0 run, the Yellow Jackets have trimmed it to 6. The freshman Harris on the 6th-year Terry, spinning, floating, and getting it down.
Just a tough play going off the bounce. He's working his magic, finishes in traffic. The shot block was coming off the ball. It was a great finish.
Nearly a turnover. Jackets will reset with George between the circles. Ooh, crossover, found space. Just a touch strong. But North Florida again trying to dribble, drive, and penetrate. And an offensive foul as Smith tangled up with Javian McCullum.
Right there, a charge taken. Georgia Tech trying to find the answer on the defensive side of the ball, looking to guys like McCollum to spearhead that. We'll get a look. It's physical here on Crimmins Court, a Sunday afternoon. Georgia Tech trails by 8. We'll be back.
The call stands, player control foul on North Florida.
A lot of time spent reviewing that last play by our officiating crew. And John, we were talking about finesse earlier in this game. Now it's felt a little bit more like a brawl. You see Javian McCullum and Smith falling. And as McCullum was going down, we saw Smith bring a little bit of an elbow here. Take a look. Yeah.
He raises the right arm up towards the face of McCullum. But I think, you know, in a snapshot right there, what that symbolizes is a North Florida team that's not going to lay down. They're trying to win this game. Georgia Tech's physicality is going to have to step up on the defensive side if they're going to get back and win this one.
See Jalen Smith getting his last word in to Bill Covington Jr., one of our officials. For the Yellow Jackets, talk about toughness, needing some of that experience, John. Georgia Tech has got a lot of it. 3 pieces they didn't have last year, and Luke O'Brien, Lance Terry, and Javian McCullum. And Onwuchekwa can't finish, but that experience, it's critical trying to win some of these rough and tumble games, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Georgia Tech's playing a 7-person rotation in this game. O'Brien, Reeves, Terry, McCullum, as well as Powell. That's 5 guys who have minutes under their belt. They've been in situations like this. You need to lean on that, and when you throw in Ndongo and throw in Nate, your 2 best returners, Georgia Tech has to find a way with that combination.
Foul here on Nate George. I think that charge we saw drawn by Javian McCullum and the contact afterwards, it might be a little bit of foreshadowing what we see these next 15 minutes or so.
I'll go back to what Coach Driscoll said, free throws and rebounding. He came over at the break and he looked at us and he said, this game will come down to free throw shooting and rebounding.
North Florida has been money from the free throw line. They are now 13 of 14 as a team. As Onwuchekwa replaced by Baye Ndongo, still working out that right ankle. Tweaked it looked like in the first half. Doesn't feel like his minutes have been stunted though. Harris hits both free throws. True freshman's now got 16 points, Chuck.
It's not an anomaly. He's done that consecutively now through 3 games. A good-looking freshman in the ASUN.
Reeves looking for a 3. Ndongo batting for the ball. He's got it. Huge offensive rebound. A chance for second points for the Yellow Jackets.
North Florida with a little bit of zone, trying to keep the Jackets off balance. Terry comes up short.
Lead up to 10 for North Florida. It's the largest of the afternoon. Ten seconds on the shot clock. Cameron Oriole attacking Kowacie Reeves. Fades away, hits it. Boy, they have been money on those fadeaways.
Oh, they are tough off the bounce. And this is a game where, again, Ndongo, preseason second-team All-ACC selection, he's a little bit hobbled with an ankle injury. You might see the Yellow Jackets go small ball down the stretch and just try to get after it with perimeter players.
McCollum trying to answer. Yellow Jackets 1 for 5 now from distance in the second half. But between North Florida's prowess shooting through contact and also taking care of the basketball, only 3 turnovers. And now Josiah Mitchell had a tough time from three-point range. He's now 2 for 8. The lead is up to 15 for the Ospreys.
Ospreys feeling it. They're doing it on both ends right now. Defensive continuity is there. Offensively, spread on the floor, dropping threes, playing with a lot of confidence.
North Florida's huddle. A 9-0 run for North Florida, and over the last 5 minutes they have outscored Georgia Tech 20-4. And at the center of it, Josiah Miles. He's got 7 points here in the second half, and he leads North Florida with 16 points and 8 rebounds.
What I see out of this team is a style of play that's, number one, hard to defend. They spread the ball, spread the floor, 5 guys that can shoot the ball, go off the bounce, and then toughness. 14 of 15 from the free throw line, only 3 turnovers in the game for North Florida, and there is a Georgia Tech turnover on that possession.
Out of a timeout, no less. Yellow Jackets have now gone 3 minutes without scoring. You still got around 13 minutes left here, John. It just feels like you need Georgia Tech to see some type of punch, some type of response. Ooh, Dimitri Moss really did a split. And Litteris right down the lane. We've seen it all afternoon long.
Yeah, Georgia Tech right now is just getting beat off the bounce. At every position, they're not keeping North Florida out of the paint and scoring at will. And what that does, if you get paint touches, it's going to collapse the D, and then that's what happens. You open up the three-point shooting on the throw-out. So ball containment is at a premium right now for Georgia Tech.
You know, 2-point field goals. North Florida has hit 21 of 26 today. Alley-oop, too tall for Ndongo, and another turnover for Georgia Tech.
Coach Driscoll dialed in the zone defense. He wants to keep Georgia Tech off balance and guessing, and right there it's been successful. That's 2 of the last 3 possessions. Georgia Tech turns it over against the zone defensive look.
Moss works it over to Oriole. Leacher's facing up, and it won't fall. McCollum with the rebound into his hands. Jackets trying to take care of transition, and for the 3rd straight possession, they turn it over.
Well, right there, you just got to get to the next play. McCollum pushing in transition. George will sub in for him out of the break. All Ospreys right now, 77-60, 11-0 run over the last 3:36. We'll be back from its court.
There's a look at Bruce Evans in his 2nd stint on the North Florida coaching staff. In between those 2 stints, he was the director of player development here at Georgia Tech with head coach Brian Gregory. And John, he spent 12 years in that North Florida staff, as has Bobby Kennan, now in his 16th season, and also Stephen Perkins in his 12th season. You got 3 assistants who have been with you for 12 or more years. That's going to play a major role in program continuity, right?
Yeah, and to say it never happens, I don't know, but at North Florida in a low major D1 school, that is so odd to see continuity in coaching staff. Speaks volumes, I think, to Matt Driscoll, what he brings to the table, the belief they have in what they're doing here. And the strength of that is just your continuity, your comfort level with your staff members. It shows in how you play on the court and then also in recruiting, in the office, your culture. Man, this is a good program Matt Driscoll has assembled here.
And the field goal no good from Moss, gets his own miss, so curl back outside. And for all the continuity in the coaching staff, John, they've returned just one full-time starter from a year ago. They lost 4 of their top 6 scorers. Duncan Powell misses from point blank. He's going to get another look at it, and it's blocked. And the basketball back to the Ospreys.
Georgia Tech now 9 turnovers in the game, only shooting 30% from the floor in the second half.
Through the contact, Litteris throws it down.
Ndongo on the receiving end of an exclamation point type dunk right there. I did not see that one coming, Wiley, did you?
I'm not sure. Litteris knew it was coming until it happened. The 6th-year senior drops a sledgehammer through contact. He has a chance to push North Florida's lead to 20.
Wow. 12 points now for Litteris, 5 of 8 from the floor. But that was just an exclamation point right there. That was a stamp on, hey, we're not going away. We came here to win, up 20 right now.
Georgia Tech look a little slack-jawed right now. Find Ndongo down low. He leaves it short. Powell, offensive rebound through contact. And finally, the scoring drought is over at over 5 minutes. Without scoring, Duncan Powell finally snaps it.
Yeah, and this, you know, the size up front, this is where the advantage lies. You got Powell, Ndongo, and O'Brien in the game right now. That's the physicality, but can you win this game scoring 2s? Who's going to stretch the floor? George, not a go-to three-point shooter, and Terry certainly capable, but you're going to need some three-point shooting. It's what's the right mix for the Jackets to get into this? But they need the size to contest at the rim because North Florida's scoring at the cup.
And conversely, John, it feels like Georgia Tech has had some looks from some of their big men, Baye Ndongo and Onwuchekwa and even Duncan Powell, that they haven't been able to finish close to the rim. Josiah Miles racing down the lane. George with the rebound.
Rebounding from the guard position and then start the break. Try to get the tempo going. Terry with a great look. Assist by Nate, and Jackets cut it to 15.
Like you said, John, they're going to need some threes. Litteris trying to answer. No. O'Brien's got the rebound.
I like the gang rebound, though. Terry was coming in, crashing from the perimeter. There you see a 13-point game now. Jackets fans are coming to life.
And a 7-0 run for the Yellow Jackets. Luke O'Brien, little shaken up maybe. But he and Lance Terry getting Georgia Tech back in this one.
Yellow Jackets with a 7-0 run over the last 1 minute of this game. In a game we thought that was just about over. Jackets showing some life, and they're doing it inside, in the paint. The physicality, O'Brien right there with the finish.
And for North Florida, and they had kind of lulled Georgia Tech asleep. You have a punch like that, what's the message in Coach Driscoll's huddle right now?
Poise. I think, you know, you've got control. There's 9:45 to go. We're up 13. Our style of play, don't deviate. We need to rebound. We need to rebound the ball. We need to be tough defensively. We're shooting 53% from the floor. Not many adjustments need to happen offensively. Just play our style of play. This is a game of runs. Georgia Tech's an ACC team. They're a competitive team. There's a lot of pride, a lot of veterans. They're going to come. All right, there's going to be a run. North Florida, can they withstand what Georgia Tech throws at them here in this last 9:45?
Out of the timeout. O'Brien stays on the floor. That's a good sign for Georgia Tech. He came up a little lame. And we're going to mop up the floor on the other side of the floor.
Well, if you're the Jackets right now, there's no time to feel any bruises and bumps. Like O'Brien's got to lace it up. If they're going to win this, it's about toughness. You cannot have a crutch in this type of game when you're down 13 against a ASUN opponent on your home floor. This is all about pride right now. Pride, effort. There's enough talent on the floor to win this. Do you have it in the tank? Do you have the fortitude?
Dimitri Moss going to Ndongo. Finds space and he hits it. Great poise from the senior Dimitri Moss.
Florida committed to the zone. They want to stall the game, slow down the tempo. That's what this zone will do.
Ndongo, tough look, side of the backboard. Duncan's got it and he has it blocked. Nate Litteris rubbing it out.
Right there, Powell does a great job with the board. But you want to look out. You know, you don't have a good look. Kick out to your shooters that are spreading across the three-point line. Offensive rebound, look behind you, that you're going to find a shooter wide open.
After the travel, it'll be Georgia Tech basketball as Moss and Murphy take a seat. That's just the 4th turnover for North Florida today.
They've been unbelievable. I mean, just high IQ, taking care of the basketball, great execution.
Powell with it, kick out, Kowacie from distance, he connects.
You see that, they're in the zone, Powell right there, the patience to just wait. Kowacie slides down to the corner, wide open three. That's your inside out three, high percentage, 12-point game. Jackets need a stop.
Reeves with 14 now, to the corner, Oscar Berry. No, O'Brien, the board for Georgia Tech.
Get it and go. You've got one of the best point guards in the ACC right now. George handles the ball. Kowacie, veteran, comes up short.
And Jalen Smith wins the rebound. Sophomore guard, All-Atlantic Sun freshman team last year. Matched up on Powell. He'll try and take him off the dribble. Heaves it high and into the corner. It's corralled by Litteris. And Berry nearly lost it. Smith steps over George, 3 seconds to shoot, heaves it, no, Litteris the rebound, and there's 2.
Having a nose for the basketball, number 2 right now. Litteris, 14.6 of 10 from the floor. He was just there at the right time, but he made that happen with his effort.
And Luke O'Brien, no, one and done. Oscar Berry, that offensive rebound though, an example of what Coach Stoudemeier's tried so hard to instill on his team. Josh Harris with the answer, and it's swollen back to 16.
Josh Harris does a great job running rim to rim. He's 8 of 9 from the field, 18 points, 5 boards in just 21 minutes of play. He's running rim to rim. He seals the defender, gets a good shot.
And Duncan Powell, too strong from the elbow.
Right now, O'Brien looks like he could use a breather. Jackets a little bit fatigued.
Next dead ball will be a timeout. In the corner, Litteris, butter. After Georgia Tech cut it to 12, a 7-0 Osprey run. Less than 7 to play. Whipped into the corner. O'Brien barely draws iron.
We said fatigue setting in right there on that shot. O'Brien, he's leaving it all out here. It's early in the season, conditioning playing a factor. He's definitely hobbled, hits the front of the rim. Georgia Tech coming up short. 19-point lead for North Florida. In control on the flats here in Atlanta. We'll be back.
About guys who come from Seward, Nebraska, John.
What's that?
I don't know what they say, but they're going to start saying this guy can play some basketball. Nate Litteris, in his 6th year of college hoops, has gone off in the second half.
Man, the three-pointers, the dunk at the finish. Throw this guy on ESPN. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. We did not see that coming. 14.6 of 8 from the field in the second half. He's only played 11 minutes, but he has in the second half, but he's made his impression on this game. On the other side of the ball, Georgia Tech, McCollum and George, the backcourt, combined just 2 points, 2 2 assists and 3 turnovers collectively, so not a lot of punch coming out of the Georgia Tech backcourt in the second half.
McCollum back on the floor. He and Nate George, the guards. Jalen Smith in no hurry. Trying to use some of this shot clock here. But North Florida, expecting them to launch 3 after 3. Here's one. Offensive rebound, Murphy trying to stick it back, and he gets it.
Ndongo with a nice contest, but when Ndongo is pulled out of the play and he's outside the arc, the offensive rebounds right there, Murphy capitalizing with the putback.
Ndongo through contact will go to the free throw line.
Ndongo now, that'll be 10 points. He's got 5 rebounds to go with it, 3 assists. He's 5 of 12 from the floor. There you see Harris still competing hard. Harris has 18 points, 6 boards. That is now his 3rd personal foul. So with 6 minutes to go, Harris will be out there. He's not in foul trouble.
That's the roll. Georgia Tech now 4 of 10 from the free throw line. And after shooting 55% in the first half, Georgia Tech shooting just 33% here in the second half. That combined with another big half offensively for North Florida, and the deficit is close to 20. And now it is 20. Kowacie Reeves reaching over Josiah Miles.
Yeah, another offensive rebound. Again, Ndongo, your best rebounder. He's pulled outside of the paint. He's outside of the arc defensively, and right now North Florida is beating up Georgia Tech's perimeter in the paint, on the boards, willing themselves to win. Up 20, 5:42 to play, and not a lot of positives right now for Georgia Tech. They're struggling to find a solution.
6 different Ospreys in double figures. Reeves, a 3. Drilled it.
Reeves has been a bright spot for the Jackets. That's 9 points in the second half now, 3 triples. He's 3 of 4 from beyond the arc in the second half. Kowacie trying to do his best to keep the Jackets within striking distance.
And Smith runs right around and past the 6'11" Dorian Onwuchekwa. And that pass sails towards the tunnel.
Well, you never like to lose on your home floor early in the year if you're Georgia Tech, but if you're Coach Stoudemire, this is a film that you can teach from. I mean, there's so many opportunities to teach low-hanging fruit, you know, ball containment, second effort, boxing out. You know, Ndongo, your best player's out. He's a little hobbled with injury. Who's going to step up? There's so many things you can go to on the film.
Got to think at the top of that list is trying to slow down dribble drive. Onwuchekwa, a long 2. And we got a foul coming here against Georgia Tech. It's going to be on Baye Ndongo.
Georgia Tech will have Texas Southern at home on the 12th, so 1 day off. You got to imagine a lot of film tomorrow. You're dissecting what went wrong here. How can we get better? And again, a little premature, 4:39 to play. The Jackets, maybe they have a run in them, but regardless, there's a lot of teachable moments. Coach Stoudemire looking on. It's a long season. It's new bodies. You're trying to mesh newcomers with returners, with transfers. It's a new era of college basketball. North Florida, kudos to them. 3rd game, they're 3-0. Great start for the Ospreys.
And this isn't necessarily a team, John, that returns a real old core. You know, they've had a lot of new pieces inserted themselves, and I think that goes back to where the continuity of the coaching staff, along with some key returners, of course, is where North Florida, after a week of this season, I'm sure the expectations were high internally, but with a win out South Carolina and potentially a win here at Georgia Tech, I think the sky's the limit, and they still have a few more bites at the Big Apple, if you will. A couple more SEC games, a game against a Big Ten opponent, Nebraska.
I think Coach Driscoll, he exudes a confidence in his team based on stylistically how they play. I mean, what a fun brand of basketball. Spread the floor, shoot threes, recruit towards that. And you get that rolling, and you get a staff that's behind it. There's a confidence. They believe they could win from the tip-off today. And that's evident coming in here. And they've already got that SEC win at South Carolina. You throw in a Georgia Tech win if they can stamp this one. What a start for North Florida and Coach Matt Driscoll.
Ndongo, there's 2.
Right now for North Florida, it's really about managing clock. Eventually you're gonna have to make some free throws, but they've been great at that today. 17 of 19 from beyond the stripe.
Harris, another offensive rebound, and Georgia Tech's got it. George, off to McCollum, he's blocked. Right now, North Florida winning every battle at both rims. 2-on-1. Terry, McCollum. The Jackets can't get a shot off.
It's a nice defensive transition possession by North Florida. Ndongo steps into the 3, trailing the play. Jackets now 81 points, but have given up 97 today. The A-Sun, North Florida Ospreys.
Ndongo hit a couple of threes last year, but it's a part of this game is Josiah Miles is going to be called for an offensive foul.
Coach Driscoll said he was holding them the whole way. Not happy. Eddie Valentine, Driscoll getting nose to nose right there on the sideline.
Those are 2 guys who've been doing it for a long, long time. And a day like today is the result of a lot of long, hard work for Matt Driscoll. Matthew Driscoll and official Ted Valentine having a spirited conversation here as we prepare to wrap this one down. North Florida up 97-81. This would be the second Power 4 win in the first week. And look at these opportunities they have coming up. They've got Georgia in 2 days and then Nebraska and Florida next month. They could build quite the resume. And putting it in context, John, North Florida joined Division I in the fall of 2006. Entering this year, they had beaten 2 Power 4 programs. That'd be Illinois and Purdue, back-to-back years in the mid-2010s. They've got 2 this week and a chance for 3 in 8 days on Tuesday.
And more importantly, a team that really believes in their style of play right now. A young team that's confident, but they're talented. They spread the floor, they're hard to defend. They mix up their defense. They started man-to-man, they got after it gritty, and then they go to the zone. They found a nice style of play here early in the season. Ndongo above the rim, assisted by Wasey.
Jackets are going to press here. Miles bothered by Terry, close to a 10-second violation, and there it is. Georgia Tech basketball. That's some of the defensive intensity that Georgia Tech has needed more of today.
Yeah, and something North Florida has not seen a lot of early on in the season, the full court pressure. And certainly we're not ready for it coming out of the dead ball, and we're bothered by it. Coach Driscoll spent the majority of his time in the last time out dealing with the officials and having words with Teddy Valentine, so they did not address that full court pressure in the timeout.
Terry buries a 3, down to 11.
Yeah, they still have a chance. 11-point game, 5-possession game. Free throws will be at a premium.
Smith,
the ball.
A 3-pointer from the lefty, drilled it, and silences the crowd. 100 for the Ospreys. Reeves off balance. And the rebound belongs to Cameron Oriole.
Smith dropping the triple on that.
Fearless.
We thought they would pull it out, work some clocks. No way. Smith said, I got this. Stretch the lead.
It's going to stick with North Florida. And you think the Ospreys are having a good week. 3-0 start, wins over South Carolina and Georgia Tech. Just wait until tomorrow, John. They've got plans for a trip to Hattie B's and then a coaches versus players bowling tournament second annual, we're told, and the coaches, they kind of took it to the players last year.
That's what it's all about. It's fun. Make it fun. These guys play a fun style of play, getting after it. Talk about player development. Jalen Smith, he averaged 6.5 points per game last year. He was second team or returning ASUN all-freshman team guy. But early on through 3 games, he's really taken his game to the next level.
We mentioned North Florida taking on the Georgia Bulldogs on Tuesday. Here's a look at what they have coming up. UNC Asheville, Edward Waters at home. And another couple road games against SIU, Edwardsville, and Nebraska. They're picked to finish 7th in the Atlantic Sun, John.
A lot of parity in that league. You know, a team like this, a lot of unknowns. Those polls are cast with a lot of variables that are unaccounted for. If you watched this team through 3 games, that might shake out a little differently.
Orioles' second free throw is good, and the Ospreys have hit 18 of 21 free throws compared to Georgia Tech, just 4 of 10. Here's what's coming up for the Yellow Jackets. All home games. Texas Southern, Georgia, Cincinnati, Charleston Southern, who lost to North Florida 4 days ago by a hefty margin, and Central Arkansas to wrap up the month before Tech hit the road for the first time and head to Norman, Oklahoma in the ACC SEC Challenge. Harris gets a step on Wasey. He's smothered, covered, and fouled.
Harris, deceptive quicks off the bounce. You don't see it coming, but multiple times he's gone off the bounce. He's actually changed direction. He's got a great pace to his play, but right here, little fake handoff, spins, savvy play by a true freshman, having his way with the Yellow Jackets front line today.
Which is really a microcosm of North Florida as a whole. It wasn't a barrage of 3-pointers. That's what we expected. North Florida 9 for 31 today, below 30% from 3, John. But they did their work in the lane and at the free throw line.
Yeah, the dribble drives, the penetration. Harris leading the charge, and he's got 20 points. He's 8 of 10 from the field. He's 4 of 4, perfect from the free throw line. 7 boards, 0 turnovers. We're talking about a true freshman in 27 minutes of play going against a second-team preseason All-ACC guy in Ndongo. He's coming at it. We got a technical foul. Is that what we're huddling on, Wiley?
It looks like it's going to be on Josiah Miles for the technical. So the foul was called on Kowacie Reeves. That was his 4th. And then Josiah Miles has been called for a Class A technical foul. Is what was put into our stat sheet, but now we've got Harris at the line. So yes, it looks like Georgia Tech's going to shoot its free throws first.
Cullum's still looking for his first points of the second half.
Got 12 in the first. And there it is. Only 1:30 left in this one.
You mentioned Josiah. I mean, what a game he had. 18 points, 11 boards. Give him the double-double. He had 4 assists to go with that as well. He's the leading guy in minutes played, so great game by Josiah Miles.
So McCollum converts his 2 free throws. And now Josh Harris will get a couple of free throws. Harris, who had 23 on Thursday, he leads North Florida again today with 20. It's funny, the seniors for North Florida went out to lunch with dinner with Coach Driscoll, a trip to Fogo de Chao before the season started, John. They're trying to get a feel for, what are these newcomers like? What's your impressions? First thing they said was Josh Harris, funniest guy on the team.
Wow. Stoic look out there, too. There's no smiles on that face today. He was all business, so we got well balanced there. But Coach Driscoll comes over at, first play of the second half. He said, rebounding and free throws will decide this game. And right now, +4 advantage in the game on the backboard. They had 8 offensive rebounds, North Florida did. And then free throws, 19 of 23 from the free throw line, as opposed to just 6 of 12 from the line for Georgia Tech.
Both percentage and attempts a wide gap. Final minute here, North Florida salting away their first ever win over an ACC program, and they've done it in style, hanging 100 points on the Yellow Jackets' home floor.
I've been in that uniform for Georgia Tech. It's also, it's kind of good that you only have one practice, because I'd imagine it might not be just a film day tomorrow. They may strap up and go, because you've got to send the message. Because Georgia Tech did not respond to the physicality. They didn't play with a sense of urgency when they needed it. And I think they knew it was coming in here. They knew this was going to be a tough competition, but there's teachable moments. They've got to get over the hump. Like I said, there's some senior guys on this team. They've got to answer the bell within 48 hours.
Georgia Tech had a lead there early in the second half, 56-55, but afterwards the Yellow Jackets had a long scoring drought. North Florida's lead was as large as 21. They will improve to 3-0. Nate George a three, knocked it down. And a timeout called by head coach Damon Stoudemire.
I think stylistically, if you compare it to football, running the football is a mentality. Georgia Tech upsets number 4 at home against Miami yesterday. 300 yards on the ground, smash mouth football running up the gut. That's what I see North Florida today. They put their head down and they drove it right to the paint. They said, is Georgia Tech going to stop us? And today, Georgia Tech did not. And so I think that was just the difference in the game, is the mentality, the approach, and putting your head down and go and believing in yourself. That's what North Florida did. Georgia Tech, again, 48 hours you got to respond to this. It's a long season. You've got a very talented team. The staff has done a great job in the offseason training them. This is where coaching comes in. This is your culture. Do you respond? How do you respond? What's the pride in this locker room? Who's our vocal leader? All this stuff plays out, as the season unfolds. It's a blank canvas to start the year, and that's the beauty of basketball. Anyone in that huddle right there can step up and be the influencer.
Georgia Tech will need to find a few of those influencing voices. You saw that note. The last team to come into McCamish Pavilion and score 100 or more on Georgia Tech was Duke in 2017.
Wow, it's been that long.
That was a team that earned a number 2 seed in the NCAA tournament.
This era of college basketball, the new faces, the camaraderie in your huddle in your locker room. Never get too low on a loss. Don't get too high on a win. A guy named John Wooden said that. But there's so much truth to that. You've got a long season. You've got to learn from this film. You've got 24 hours to watch the film, understand where's the low-hanging fruit, and then go right back to battle. And I'm excited to see what this Georgia Tech team will bring this year. And now, having laid eyes live on North Florida, what a team in the ASUN. I mean, they're going to be a problem come March.
Ospreys get it in. Liam Murphy taking it up the floor. Terry rips it loose, and he is on the sideline. North Florida basketball. And I think Georgia Tech is asking why did the shot clock reset. They're claiming that Terry had possession. Does Terry have possession? Did he have possession and then get on the sideline, or did he gather possession while he was already on the sideline?
I think he gathered possession before. Well, they're going to take another look at it. That's a tough angle for us, opposite side of the floor. Coach Driscoll, you're still coaching them up. I mean, we've got a long way to go. 44 seconds. It's a 4-possession game. Crazier things have happened. We'll get another look. Terry lays out. There, right there, he has control. We can't see from that angle if his back hit the white stripe.
This might be a little better. So when does he have possession?
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Now it hits. should be out of bounds, right?
Yeah, well, it's going to be out of bounds regardless. The question is, should the shot clock have reset or not? And by that view, it certainly seems like it should have.
It should. There's possession gain, no
Yes.
doubt about it. I don't even see, watching that angle right there, there's no argument otherwise, in my opinion.
No, and unless Georgia Tech were to call timeout in that brief moment, but nobody signaled for that.
Timeouts remaining. Georgia Tech 0. North Florida has 2. So if they get in trouble on the sideline, instead of turning it over, North Florida obviously has 2 to burn. So they are in control, obviously. 10-point lead, 2 timeouts in the bank. And Georgia Tech looking for a miracle at this point.
It's probably why Georgia Tech didn't call a timeout there. They didn't have any left. Learn something new every day, John.
Heady play. Sometimes it's easy to, just
It's
dive
happened
in and
before.
you just try to burn
Yeah,
one right there.
Take a long look at this. I don't know.
Looking at the shot clock, we'll see what the verdict is on the court.
Well, I think the shot clock should be at 30 seconds, no, if they rule that he had possession. Not certain exactly what the discussion was beyond that, but
Well, we don't know if they established that possession was made. There was a lot of things we weren't privy to over here.
so 44 seconds left. Inbound coming from Litteris to Harris. He's got it, and a foul there coming against Lance Terry.
Fouling a very good free throw shooter on that play. So North Florida, again, the game within the game. They find a way to get Harris, who's 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Get one of your better free throw shooters the ball, and let's seal this one down the stretch. Savvy play by the Ospreys. He plays with some boys, huh?
He sure does.
Goes on the road in the ACC, SEC, walks up a couple wins, knocks down his free throws. Who's that now? 22 points.
Ndongo with the rebound. Oh, Josh Harris, surprised recruit. Lance Terry trying to throw it down. Let out a little frustration, and now another foul coming here. Going to be on Baye Ndongo.
Just one of those days. Terry right there. I mean, he took off. He's got some serious bounce for the finish. Couldn't get it. It's been like that for Georgia Tech in the second half. I mean, the bucket just wouldn't go, and sometimes early in the season you can have those outings, and how do you respond? That's the most important thing.
Nate Litteris, his second half performance, a big part of the story as well. That's now 14 points in the second period. Transfer from Longwood University. Part of a team that reached the NCAA tournament back in 2022. He's the only Osprey with tournament experience thus far as Lance Terry catapults a long one. And it looks like Damon Stoudemire's going to call off the press in North Florida. For the second time this week, knocks down a Power 4 school on the road, and they do it behind 105 points at Georgia Tech.
All 5 starters in double figures for North Florida, and from start to finish, they competed, and they went hard, and they get the results. A 12-point victory on Georgia Tech's home court.
Just the